Hi, everybody. It's Kelly Russell, the Rock Your Joy Coach. Thank you so much for being with me today. Welcome to my channel. So, you might be able to guess from my attire, my version of the orange jumpsuit and the chains, that I am talking about prison today. That is my topic for this week is how we imprison ourselves by imprisoning our brothers and how can we break free of that. And there is a there's a link to the blog post that I wrote about this today below, so you can click on that and read the rest of the post after this video. And so, but how do we wind up in prison? We're in a Course in Miracles says you're in a prison of your own making. And how does that happen? Well, how it happens is that whenever we judge a brother, that's what prison is, right? In the world of form, how do we wind up in prison? Wind up in prison because we are somehow found guilty. We do something, we're found guilty, we're judged, we're condemned to sentencing, and we're punished by being put in prison. And that's literally what we've done to ourselves in this world of form, in that we have this underlying belief that we are guilty because we think we separated from God. And not only separated, but it's worse than that, because separation can feel a little bit kinder and gentler than what it really is that we experience, which is that we experience that we completely rejected God and killed him and told him to fuck off and said, I don't need you. I'm going to be my own God. I don't have anything to do with you. And you're dead to me. And that is why we feel so guilty. We feel so guilty because on some level we know how much we love our creator. We know how much we love our father. We know what our bond is. Our right mind is never unaware of that. But that split mind that believes that we are separate from God believes that we are guilty and shameful in our rejection of God, and in our purported separation, which never happened. But it doesn't really matter that it didn't happen in terms of our perception, because we're always reacting to our perception. We're not reacting to what's really going on. We're reacting to our perception of what's really going on, right? And so if we believe that we separated from God, that's going to be our experience. And so we feel so terrible about it. And this is what happens, I can tell you from being in the field of psychology, that when somebody feels intense guilt over something that they believe that they have done, they repress it and suppress it and deny it, so to the point where they are not conscious of it, and they unconsciously project it out onto someone else. And this is where we see people saying that something is someone else's fault, and they're blaming somebody else for what they themselves believe that they are guilty for. But this is what we have done on a colossal scale. The collective Son of God, which is who we are, all of our minds are joined. We're one son, where we share one mind, and we, in this mind, have this split off part of it that believes that we are guilty and that we separated from God. And the Course in Miracles says that's our one problem, and the one solution is remembering that the separation never happened. And so when you are when somebody gets sentenced to prison and they're in a prison cell, how do people stay in prison? How do we keep all the prisoners in prison? We keep them in prison by having prison guards that's their job, is to make sure that the inmates stay in prison. That's who we are. That's who we become. We are holding our brothers guilty for anything. When we're holding them in blame and condemnation for anything that we perceive that they have done, in our minds, that's who we become. We become the jailer. And so we can't be free either. We can't be out in the light. We can't be out enjoying life, because we have to be in the fucking prison making sure that the other person stays in their cell and is punished. But really, we're punishing ourselves at the same time because we have to be in prison too. We may think we love our job of being a prison guard. We don't, because it keeps us from actually being free ourselves. And so, as we prevent someone else from being free of our judgment and condemnation, we prevent ourselves from being free of our judgment and our condemnation, because we are one. There's no way that you can hold a part of oneness apart from another part of oneness. There's just no way that that can happen. So the solution is, the file that's baked into the cake here is us practicing forgiveness for whatever it is that we are holding our brothers in judgment and condemnation and guilt for, and releasing them. And in releasing them, releasing ourselves. So it's practicing that version of forgiveness that the Course in Miracles gives us, that is so amazing and so beautiful. And I talk about this in greater detail in the attached blog post. So you can click on that below. You can get a written version of the forgiveness practice and read more about how this whole thing works and how you can release yourself and be free by releasing your brother from prison. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I'm so happy that you're down with doing this prison break with me. We're all going to walk into the light together. And if you would like to experience more of teaching, I'm here every week talking about A Course in Miracles and practical application to our lives. So you can subscribe to my channel by clicking the button below. And there's also a link below to schedule a discovery call with me. That's free. And that is, it's a coaching session where we can talk about something that's going on in your life, oftentimes where you're holding someone or something responsible for your unhappiness, and we can help to shift your perception in that way. And you can find out a little bit more about working with me as a coach. So thank you again for joining me today, and I'll see you next week.